Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Needle in a Timestack. Why? Honestly, I read that title, I'm just like, but why? I get it, and why it makes sense in terms of the film, but it's such a strange title, and, I don't think, I wish they named it something different, but that doesn't mean anything in terms of the quality of the film. So let's get to the actual film. This is from writer-director John Ridley, who was a screenwriter on 12 Years a Slave, and this film is a sci-fi romance that focuses on the marriage of Nick and Janine, played Leslie Odom Jr. and Cynthia Ervio, and they love each other. They're in, as IMDb describes, marital bliss, but then you have Janine's ex-husband, who is trying to warp reality and time to make sure that they never got together, because he wants to still be with her and doesn't want them to be together and stuff like that, and because petty, so Tom Petty. And you have this story, and then this leaves Nick to go on this time traveling adventure through different versions of his life and trying to find his way back to love and back to his wife. And it brings up a lot of different sci-fi elements, like obviously being able to, can you change your past to manipulate the future and warp what has happened before? And then you have, there's points where it's Nick, Leslie Odom Jr.'s character, tries to get, this insurance where it's you can save your memories. So, if the past changes, you still have them and you can, reconnect with things. It's is that worth it? And, this definitely has a lot, it's more harder science fiction than Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, because that's more of getting rid of memories. You're not warping time and reality, but it has a lot of those kinds of elements, taking a romance and mixing it in with this manipulation of past experiences and memories and stuff like that. And this film, to me, it kind of just felt I felt a little hollow watching this film, and it feels very sleek. This is a very sleek film, from the cinematography and everything. Ramsey Nichol, how they go about shooting the film, it feels very artificial, and it kind of was hard for me to connect with the characters because a lot of it just felt overly produced and artificial, and it's hard to build a real nuanced, loving relationship in this dressing of this just looks like this is something that is just overly produced. And the music, it works at some points from composer Mike Isham, but it's a bit much at times. There's definitely some big emotional moments, and I appreciated them. There's some strong filmmaking here, and there's definitely emotional beats here that really work. And the very ending shot I think is pretty powerful. There's some moments throughout the film that I think are really powerful, but it just feels like an overly produced kind of romance, and you just throw a bunch of time travel stuff into it. And basically this movie is just a bunch of very, very good looking people all being in love with each other. And you can really boil that down to Leslie Odom Jr. and Cynthia Erivo, their relationship, and I cared about them, and then it gets so convoluted. And you throw in Frieda Pinto's character, and then of course you have Orlando Bloom, who's the one who's causing all this mess in the first place. I did really like Jaden Wong, who plays this really close friend of Leslie Odom Jr.'s character, and their relationship I thought was interesting and brought a different kind of perspective to things in this film. But in general, I felt I never fully was brought in and held there feeling for this story, and it felt at many ways it felt overly sleek and produced to the point where I felt I was at a distance. And when you're watching a romance, you want to feel that connection because that's how you invest in this relationship. And I don't know if I ever really felt that after a certain point in this film. And when it gets a little too much with the time travel and the manipulating of pasts and memories and all those kinds of things, I just felt this kind of felt flat at times and felt a little bored at times. So in the end, I don't know if this really worked for me so much. If you're really into romance, maybe this is something that, like, this is a nice way to get you to watch a romance and also get into some science fiction. But for me, this one just didn't completely click with me. But I do think if, like, you're a fan of romance, this is still worth checking out because maybe you will be able to, like, immerse yourself in it a little bit better and enjoy this strange and unique and interesting kind of idea that's put to film here with a very, very attractive cast. I don't know if I would say all of them are, like, extremely talented actors. So I'm really just kind of thinking about, I guess, Orlando Bloom. But, you know, I think everybody's there doing their job perfectly fine. But in the end, this one didn't really click for me. But those are my thoughts on Needle and a Time Stack. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.